Another off-duty police officer has been robbed.
Ever wondered what happens when criminals pick the wrong target? Well, buckle up, because I have got a lineup of robbers who found out the hard way that not all heists go as planned. Grab your popcorn and get ready for a crazy ride through the most unexpected and entertaining encounters between the criminal underworld and some quick-thinking officers. Let's get in. Number 1. Date night. It was supposed to be a romantic night out for Chase and Nicole, but instead of just dinner and a movie, they ended up starring in their own action flick. Their peaceful evening was interrupted by a masked man with a gun. Nicole's hands went up so fast, you could almost hear her thinking, "Is this part of the dinner show?" But Chase and Nicole weren't just any couple. They were off-duty cops. Talk about taking your work home with you. Without missing a beat, they pulled out their service pistols and went after the robber, probably thinking, well, there goes dessert. The robber didn't stand a chance. He was probably wondering why his heist turned into a real-life game of cops and robbers. Number 3. Rolex. The Metropolitan Police pulled off some serious undercover work in London's Soho, catching thieves who thought they were about to steal luxury watches. Instead, they were robbing undercover cops. In one sting operation, the Met arrested 31 robbers in a year, with 14 already sentenced. It was a clean sweep, and Commander Ben Russell of Met Intelligence probably enjoyed reporting those numbers. So, if you're in London flaunting a fancy watch, know that the Met's watching, and if you're a thief, you might just be the next one caught in their undercover trap. Number 4. Stop. Off-duty Newton officer Lita Dave Tempesta turned a simple coffee run into a heroic moment. While he was at the corner mini Mart, a man with a knife tried to rob the store. Tempesta quickly pulled out his gun, and a struggle broke out. The store clerk and some customers helped take the man down. Number 5. Bin. Kuron police responded to an alarm at Vacation Land Federal Credit Union. They found a blue recycling bin under an access door in the drive-thru. To their surprise, 27-year-old Tristan Heidel dropped from the ceiling into the bin. Police quickly arrested him and found construction tools in his backpack. Heidel was charged with breaking and entering, possession of criminal tools, and safecracking, and held on a $50,000 bond. Number 6. Tennessee. At Jared Jewelry Store in Thoroughbred Village, a sharp-eyed employee spotted someone dressed like a low-budget heist movie character, hoodie, mask, hat, and sunglasses at night, and reported it. Undercover officers followed the suspect to a van, tracking it to Cool Springs Galleria. 4 masked people jumped out and rushed into JCPenney. They smashed glass, pepper-sprayed an employee, and one even tried to grab an officer's gun. Number 7. NYPD. An off-duty police officer got a taste of the crime he usually fights. 3 suspects who apparently decided that Main Street in Inwood was the perfect place for a stick-up last Friday. The officer and 2 others were just minding their own business when these 3 hooligans showed up and gave one of them a free, painful knock on the head with a gun. They really took hitting the town to a new level. After helping themselves to jewelry, cell phones, and wallets, they made a hasty exit, probably to find the nearest pawn shop, or maybe just to compare their loot over a cup of coffee. Number 8. Gunpoint. A man showed up to buy a used white BMW he found on Craigslist. Seems simple enough, right? But this story quickly turned into something far more dramatic. The unsuspecting buyer arrived around 10:30 p.m., expecting to drive away with a new-to-him car. Instead, he found himself face-to-face with two men who had a different kind of transaction in mind. These fellows, it turns out, were more interested in playing the role of robbers than car salesmen. As our buyer checked out the BMW, one of the would-be robbers decided to accessorize with his wallet. Amid this, the bullets found their mark on one of the suspects, a 39-year-old man who later succumbed to his injuries at the hospital. Number 10. Daylight. In broad daylight, because why not, a couple of wannabe robbers decided to try their luck with a former Marine. The whole thing got caught on security cameras, including the rear-view camera of the guy's Tesla. So, these geniuses followed him home from church and Home Depot in their dark-colored sedan and decided to kick off their robbery attempt by telling him, "Hey, someone hit your car." Classic move, right? Well, the Marine wasn't buying it. Before he knew it, they pepper-sprayed him. But here's the thing, he was wearing glasses. Turns out those specs gave him just enough of an edge to fight back. And he did. Hard. The attackers, probably expecting an easier target, were caught totally off guard. To make matters worse for the would-be robbers, a landscaping crew just happened to be working nearby and jumped in to help. They chased off the attackers, who clearly didn't think this one through. Number 12. NYPD officer. Off-duty NYPD officer robbed at gunpoint. A 23-year-old rookie cop in New York City became the target of a gunman just after midnight near Garrison Avenue and Borrego Street in Hunts Point. Surveillance video shows the gunman approaching the officer as he was getting his bag from his car trunk after a late shift. Even though the officer tried to back away, the gunman held him at gunpoint and stole his wallet, keys, and badge. It's no surprise that residents were stunned and worried about their safety, given that a cop was the victim in their neighborhood. Number 13. Connecticut. The suspect, named Ruben Muller, was outside his car and fled when asked for his license, running toward a nearby Taco Bell. Trooper Godbout chased Muller, used his taser, and temporarily stopped him. Muller got up and continued running, but fell again after colliding with a truck. Number 14. Brazil. In a crazy display of macho-ness, an off-duty military police officer, Sergeant Rafael Sousa, took down two armed robbers while holding his baby in one arm. If that's not multitasking, I don't know what is. Number 16. JSO. Well, Officer Jay Collier had quite the time, one can say. He was on the hunt for a truck linked to an armed robbery in Lake County and spotted it at a gas station on Jacksonville's west side. Things got intense when he noticed a rifle on the passenger seat and saw the truck's owner, Brenton Paquin, casually strolling in with his dog. When Collier asked Paquin if the truck was his and told him to sit on the curb, Paquin decided to make a beeline for his truck instead. He reached inside for a handgun and aimed it at Collier, who quickly fired back and took Paquin down. Thankfully, Officer Griffin, who's also got EMT training, jumped in to provide first aid until the paramedics showed up. Number 17. All wrong. This video is like a script titled "Everything That Can Go Wrong with a Robbery." The guy first stole the car and then appeared in front of the soldiers with a gun. And well, yeah, you guessed it right. The officers weren't having any of it, and they showed him who they were in an instant. What do you guys think of this? Let me know in the comments below. Number 18. Bank robbery. An off-duty Mount St. Joseph police officer, Carl Rauschenberger, was at a key bank in Colleran Township, handling some personal business when he found himself in the middle of a robbery. Two men, including Malcolm Jones, were holding up the bank, with Jones waving his gun around like he was in an action movie. Officer Rauschenberger, gun drawn, took a tactical position and ordered Jones to drop his weapon. The whole thing was caught on video. Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters was stunned by this, saying the bank should be ashamed of itself. He even wondered out loud what might have happened if the officer hadn't been there. Number 19. Raincoat. Okay, so it all started when Pineville police got a call about shoplifting at the Food Lion on Johnston Road. Sergeant Adam Roberts, who was nearby, decided to respond. The suspect was well known to the police for his frequent shoplifting and violent behavior. When Sergeant Roberts spotted Bodden walking away with a bag of stolen groceries, he told him to stop, but Bodden ignored him and kept walking. Sergeant Roberts followed Bodden across the street, and when Bodden became confrontational, Sergeant Roberts tried using a taser, which didn't work. Officer Down arrived to help, but Bodden managed to grab his radio cord. During the struggle, Sergeant Roberts drew his gun when Bodden appeared to reach for it. After Officer Down yelled, Bodden was handcuffed, but he eventually became unresponsive. Number 20. St. Paul police officer. On a Sunday night at Best Steakhouse, Officer Jonathan Valencia was having a peaceful family meal when a would-be robber decided to add a bit of drama to the evening. The thief, probably craving a tip for his own meal, decided to swipe the restaurant's tip jar, but instead of a quiet getaway, he ended up in a full-on showdown. The man, armed with a steak knife and clearly auditioning for a role in a cooking show gone wrong, tried to make his escape. Officer Valencia calmly revealed his badge and sidearm. He issued the classic cop line, "Drop the knife," and the robber did so faster than you can say, "Check, please." Number 21. Cops Gone Wild. A Texas woman decided to turn her trip to Ulta Beauty into the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster. The day started off pretty normal. She allegedly did some shoplifting, got caught, and was handcuffed by the police. You know, just a regular Saturday. But our leading lady, 33-year-old Tosha Sponsler, wasn't about to let things end there. While the officers were busy rummaging through her bags of totally not stolen beauty products, Sponsler pulled off a move that would make Houdini proud. She somehow wiggled out of her handcuffs, squeezed through a tiny window partition, and slipped into the driver's seat of the police car. Yep, she literally stole the cop car. Then there was a high-speed chase. Sponsler hit the gas, all while the police were probably wondering if they'd just entered an episode of Cops Gone Wild. At one point, she even made a grab for the shotgun inside the vehicle, because why not go full action hero, right? The chase finally came to an end when a state trooper used a maneuver to make Sponsler lose control of the car. Number 22. 7-Eleven. A police officer in West Covina, California, walked into a 7-Eleven and interrupted an armed robbery. This whole thing was captured on security cameras and took place on January 17, 2024. Ramon Gonzalez, a 48-year-old man, was trying to rob the store. He asked the clerk for cigarettes, then showed a gun and demanded money. Just as Gonzalez was about to leave with the cash, Sergeant Hernandez, a uniformed officer, entered the store. The store clerk quickly alerted the officer, who immediately chased Gonzalez. The officer caught him outside, finding both the stolen money and a loaded gun on him. Number 23. Old Man. A peaceful day outside an Ohio library suddenly turns into a real-life action scene. Police are chasing down a suspect, and things are getting pretty intense. But just when you think the guy might get away, a hero steps in, an elderly man with a cane. Yep, you heard that right. This quick-thinking grandpa saw the suspect running by and didn't even hesitate. With perfect timing, he sticks out his cane and trips the guy, sending him crashing to the ground. The cops, who were right on the suspect's tail, caught up in no time and made the arrest, all thanks to this brave senior. Number 24, gun. Think of this right. This officer, who was off-duty but still in full uniform, was gearing up for a shift at the Taylor Swift concert downtown. He was at a BP gas station near the Southfield Freeway and Joy Road, just paying for his fuel when out of nowhere, two guys decided to make a seriously bad decision. One of them, shirtless and probably not thinking straight, reached for the officer's gun. Yep, right there in the middle of the gas station, he actually grabbed it off the officer's hip. But our officer wasn't about to let that slide. He immediately grabbed the guy, and a tussle broke out. Now, most people might have panicked, but not this cop. Number 25. Ricks. St. Louis police tried to stop 32-year-old Don Ricks, who was speeding over 100 mph on Pennsylvania Avenue. After crashing his car on Nebraska Avenue, Ricks got out and fired at the officers. Ricks was caught in a nearby alley after a short chase. One officer had a graze wound above his eye, but was fine afterward. Ricks wasn't injured, and police found a weapon at the scene. Number 26, Santa Ana. In Santa Ana, a suspect in a Stater Brothers robbery ended up taking quite a hit. After allegedly robbing the store, he was punched to the ground by someone who clearly wasn't interested in a conversation. The authorities didn't want to talk to him as a witness. They aimed to charge him. As the saying goes, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. Number 27. Carjacking. Riverside police were on the lookout for a carjacked vehicle along Palm Avenue. When they found it, the driver refused to pull over and instead drove into an apartment complex. As he exited the car with a handgun, one of the officers fired 4 shots, hitting him once in the back. Number 28. Stop. Well, this police officer is on duty even on his day off. The officer kept his cool even in such a situation. But it was all to get a hold of the robber. A bad day for robbery. The guy was arrested since the officer kept him under control until the police arrived. Number 29. Attempted carjacking. I mean, one should be scared before attempting something like this. But you should be more scared if you end up robbing or messing with an off-duty cop. Because those guys have the training you don't. And clearly, these guys ended up with the wrong would-be victim. Number 30. Knife. It's one thing trying to mess with a police officer and another to know he is a cop and swing a knife at him. I mean, this man is going to jail and he's going for long. Number 21. Real smart Karen. The award for the dumbest criminal goes to this Karen who literally called 911 to turn herself in. You heard that right. She turned herself in. How did it happen? Well, she hid somewhere inside the store and waited for it to close. Then she got out and had the entire store to herself as she went on a huge shoplifting spree. But I'm not sure what she was thinking. Did she really expect the doors to be open? Turns out, Karen ended up getting trapped, and after several minutes of trying to escape, she had to call 911 and turn herself in. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Until next time, stay safe, and keep the action on screen, not in real life.